So first off, thanks for being here, taking the time. I know we've talked about this a few times, and I love what you do, and I love that we both are just kind of doing this and going forward and trying to figure out how in the world we're going to continue to help others as we go.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because I know that we both have similar stories, and we both obviously are still here and have recovered similarly with just natural food and, different herbs and things to help along the way.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I think we can take some time today, not to tell everyone we have every single answer in the world and we can solve everyone's problems, but we have had some success that maybe can be replicated by a lot of people out there. And I think that, every story and everyone's regimen is different from each other, but there's a little common things. And, some common things is perseverance, a healthy mindset, taking action, trying things and simplifying what those things are, okay, I'm going to try this diet, I'm going to try this regimen or these supplements, or I'm going to add meditation or start reading some of Lil Sipper blogs, right? And when you do those things, they can, it's almost like sometimes you can get Yahtzee with them. And I think it's most important that you don't get stricken by fear.
No, I think fear is definitely something that can hinder a lot of people because it's the fear of actually getting well, which I had, because you live with it for so long. You're like, okay, how is my life actually going to be different?
I always like to tell people the hardest thing about healing the gut is, one, you can't stay off of it. If you get a bum knee or you hurt your wrist, you just don't use your wrist for a little bit, right? And you use the other hand or something. You can't stay off your gut. That's what's really hard about it. You have to be able to eat, but do it in a way that doesn't inflame you. And then two is you can't see your gut. So everyone out there, it's like if I would have said, if you were like, Dane, should I go for a run right now? I'm not sure if my knee still hurts from banging it on the wall the other day. And I look at it, it's black and blue and swollen. I'm like, it's probably not a good idea for you to go to run yet. And you're like, oh yeah, you're right. It does look like crap. I should probably wait. You can't do that with the gut. You have to be in touch and be like, can I eat this right now?
Well, yeah. And one thing for me is, and I'm sure you can relate, is that I get asked all the time, wow, you have to do, so many meal prepping, or is it time consuming? It's taking over my life, meal prepping and doing all these special things for my diet. Well, for me, my sickness was taking over my life. So, putting in the time, meal prep to have a life is nothing.
And so what was your experience with Crohn's, and did you ever feel like you couldn't get out, that you were going to be stuck forever?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, a lot of doctors didn't even know what was going on. Back then, I feel like Crohn's was not something that was really well known about. So it was still kind of like a guessing game. And so, yeah, I felt very hopeless, and I felt like no one really understood. And I felt like some people, I think, thought I was crazy because you can't really see it. Like you were saying prior, you can't see if your gut is bruised up, right? Of course, I did all the tests, colonoscopies and things like that, but things just weren't coming out as red flags, and I was, normal. So very discouraging. However, I did work with a holistic doctor who helped me tremendously. I've known him for many, many years, well back into my early teens. So, he worked with me very closely. We did everything naturally. I never went on medication, not once did I take meds, ever. I didn't want to because, there's so many side effects from medication, and they can cause tons of other problems. So it's amazing that you actually can heal. And the one thing that I would really encourage people to do is it all starts in the mind. And so you can't give up hope.
The first one, Millette said, where to start? What's the first step? And I think that first step is healing does start in the mind. And what that means is you can't always, for me, and then Beth, I'd love to hear your answer, is you can't always start with willpower, meaning you're going to force yourself to do something. You need balance, which means gratefulness, forgiveness, getting everything out of your mind, and then trying to put simplicity on a piece of paper. So complex things, to master them is to simplify them. Right there. Just right there. Just make it 2 steps. Beth, what would you say? What would you say to someone who's desperate in that first step?
Well, first of all, I love that you journaled. You know, I think that's really important, because then you have something to look back to, and you can actually track your progress and, you know, see that what you're doing is making a difference. And, you know, for me, where I started, I cut out, you know, all the packaged food, all the fast food, even things that were quote unquote healthy, you know, even if it was packaged, I didn't eat it. Everything was fresh. And I pureed. So that's how I started to heal, was giving your gut a rest from digestion. So I pureed everything from my meat. You know, even till this day, I still do it just to keep my gut in check. I don't have to, but I'm pureeing everything down. Not a liquid diet, but just a soft food yogurt diet. And I didn't like it at first, but I got really used to it, and it tasted the same. You know, it just looked weird. Yeah. But just giving your gut a rest from digestion, and you absorb so much more nutrients when things are pureed and pre-broken down.
Beautiful.
So then that way too, your body doesn't have to exert as much energy to digest it. It's already, you know, pre-digested.
The next question was from Corey Valentine. He said he's in the hospital right now, and he got admitted to the ER because the inflammation from UC got so bad. So he's on IV steroids until they get his Entyvio, which is approved, but is not the path he wants to go. But since he's in the hospital, what should he eat in the hospital? And that's a really good question, Corey, because I was in the hospital for 6 weeks straight. I lost 40 pounds in that hospital. I was on chemotherapy, TPN. I was on 200 milligrams of IV prednisone, 4 different antibiotics, Ambien, and 3 grams of Dilaudid, which is basically heroin, legalized heroin. So I was like, hey, this life isn't so bad. You know, I mean, it was terrible, but you got to laugh at that sometimes. And I think one of the reasons I got worse and worse is because the hospital food was so terrible. There are supplements, and I'm sure Bethany can recommend some companies who will make pre-digested shakes that I would use in that hospital. So to go off of her first goal was to do a pureed diet. Something like Absorb Plus from Jeannie Patel, I think is really good. If you go to my website and go to shop, there's an unsweetened Absorb Plus that has no stevia, and it's meant for weight gain. It's meant for absorption. It's pre-digested, which that's what elemental means. So I would say drinking that 3 or 4 times a day, maybe up to 6 times a day if you need, would be a great start to lower that inflammation and get your body the nutrients. If it's too gross for you, meaning it doesn't have any sugar or any sweeteners, I would add a little bit of Manuka honey, but I wouldn't do the stevia to start. Ashley says a really important question is, what do you do when someone has given up hope? How can you change their mindset? And actually, my answer to that is, when I felt like I was giving up hope, and I felt like I was okay with not being alive at a certain time. And it's because I didn't know what I was fighting for. I didn't know what I really wanted. Like, I didn't have a strong dream. You know, a lot of us, we get so sick. Like, this is plan A in our lives. We wake up and we have these dreams, you know, and all of a sudden you get sick. Your life all of a sudden for years on end becomes, how do I just get back afloat? You never even look at your dreams anymore. If you can find out what you're doing in your healing program actually also helps you in the kind of life you want, then it's not about healing anymore. It's about being your best self. It's about an investment in who you want to be anyways. And that was the trigger for me when I looked at these books and I said, oh my God, natural medicine is not, I can't do this. These are crazy people living on pureed carrots and bone broth and fasting for weeks on end. This is not for, I can't do this. I remember my mom showed it to me. I threw it right over my shoulder, like, no way I'm doing this. And I struggled for a lot of years. But what was the switch for me in my mindset is when I realized, because I had a lot of great things happen in my life, and it was really things I wanted to achieve. And I always wanted to travel the world, and I always wanted to have maybe kids one day, or I wanted to, I had been signed as a model, which was cool, and I got to travel the world and make money doing that. And so I started looking, and I said, wow, the things that I'm looking at make me better. And so all of a sudden my mindset changed into an investment in who I wanted to become, and it had nothing to do with Crohn's disease. It was just about achieving who I wanted. And I realized that when I was grateful, when I was surrounding myself with healthy people, when I was avoiding negative energy, either on the TV, either in the music, or either like people or the food with the conventional stuff, or not food mixing, all of a sudden I just got better at all these things that I was failing at before I got sick. I mean, that was amazing to me. I said, holy crap, I'm learning things that I wish I would learn. If I had $1 million and I was perfectly healthy and I was 25 years old, and I said, I had all the money in the world, what do I want to do? I would want to learn how to be healthier. I'd want to learn how to be more self-empowered. I'd want to learn how to have more loving people around me and make their lives better, and they can make my lives better. That's what a best friend is, right? That's what being in love is, making each other's life the best for each other. So I was learning. I was like, take a step back, and this was a catalyst to make me a better human being in every way I wanted. So when you say, how can you change your mindset? I think you should forget that you're sick for a second, and I want you to journal about just imagine your very best self.
If you're in a place where you have already given up hope and you just want to die, I've been there. I didn't want to live at all. I didn't want to live another day. But something that kept me going was God, my faith, and knowing that He would not allow something to happen to me that I couldn't handle. So I was like, okay, obviously I can handle this. And thinking about, okay, why am I going through this? There has to be a reason why. And of course I didn't know it at the time, but I do now, is to help others that are going through it. And this is my job. This is what I'm doing. I've already put in. If you're just wanting to give up, I mean, why give up now when you've worked so hard to come this far and stop?
Yeah.
So you really have to think, man, okay, I can't give up because look at all that I've done already. And, who knows what is in the future and why I'm going through this. And, I could go on, but just like Dane said, there's a reason. And I know it's crappy. It's crappy. And no pun intended, but it's something you really just have to keep pushing towards is just all the hard work that is going into it, and really think about the reason and purpose why you're going through it, because it can be something great and you just maybe not know it yet.
And then Corey Valentine, what's up, Corey? Thanks for the question. Have you tried cryotherapy or float tanks? I personally have tried both, and I think that cryotherapy, it can potentially be good, but if you haven't tried it and you're not used to something like that, or you're really sick, I'd probably stay away from it, because even though it could help reduce inflammation, you're putting your body in a sympathetic state because you're now freezing your body to try to reduce the chronic inflammation. But your sympathetic nervous system definitely is going to be responding to that, especially if you don't know what you're doing. Where I think there's easier ways to get the stress reduction or the inflammation down without having to put yourself in a state like that. But where you are, Corey, if that's where you feel like your energy is good and you have good energy about it and you're not maybe extremely sick, that could be a great way to lower that inflammation. I like to do nowadays cold plunge every once in a while, especially if I go for a 6-mile, 5-mile run, or I really hit it hard. I'll go sit in a cold plunge for up to maybe 6 minutes at a time. And then float tanks, I think, is a great way to get yourself mentally healthy and just kind of be on a journey and just breathe and practice being in a meditative state, parasympathetic state. Angie said, Angie, first, thanks to you for the comment. She said, what can heal fistulas naturally? What do you think, Beth?
Yeah, I mean, obviously each person is different. For me, I would completely stay away from fibrous foods because that can really irritate and make things worse. So, just being careful and watchful of not only what you put into your body, but most importantly, what you don't put in, to try and eliminate those things. Fortunately, I didn't have that, so it wasn't something I had to deal deal with. But, I would just say, maybe try some of these recommendations and take it one day at a time.
And then Jill says, how do you feel about gluten? I'm not gluten intolerant, but doesn't it cause inflammation? Yeah, I'm not a big fan of gluten. Even if you can take it, so to say, or you're not coming up as celiac, there's about 4 different tests that a lot of functional medicines believe you have to take to really see if you're gluten intolerant or not. I personally believe that staying away from gluten, even over dairy, I would start, things like yogurts and cheeses before I would add in gluten. Gluten is inflammatory, yes, and it's in food you don't necessarily need. And I think 100 years ago, people were eating a lot less gluten. They had stronger guts because of the lifestyle and atmosphere we live in. And also they were sprouting their foods. So which reduces the amount of gluten. I think you're going to feel better. You're going to get better thoughts, mindset, especially if you're facing depression. You're going to get more energy. You're going to notice less bloating if you get rid of gluten. And a lot of gluten-free products, those can be hard too. Like the breads that are gluten-free. For me, I stay away from it all. Hovan said, can you give me some tips on working out? What about the intensity? How many times a week? He started lifting and he felt really good. He was diagnosed with Crohn's. He feels more positive, but sometimes he gets a stomach ache. And, I completely relate with that. When I started working out, I chose to do what I want to do for myself. I wouldn't always recommend it to my clients, but I was in the gym, very quickly when I could hardly even walk because I wanted to be in that energy and that atmosphere, and it got me out of the house. So I would join yoga classes and I would just do what I could. And then I would sit there and meditate around other people because I was in an atmosphere where everyone was trying to heal. And it's a lot easier to do that than when you're stuck in your room. So sometimes just getting out and going to the gym can be really helpful. When you're exercising and you're trying to build muscle or do things with Crohn's, you're putting yourself in a really, really slippery slope. And it's really tricky because your mind and everything you're doing is about getting stronger and bigger. And that can be sympathetic and stressful. Like lifting weights really hard and running really hard and listening to your war music. And you know how guys are, we all just want to be like Mr. freaking huge. And I've been there. I mean, I used to lift crazy weight and I could bench 315 pounds. I took creatine and whey protein. I was in Men's Health. Like, look at me. And I wasn't even healthy, right? I would say that do everything calm, practice your breathing. Meaning if you're going to go down, let's say you're doing bench press, on the way down, take a breath in, and the way up, release. Especially with legs and core exercises, make sure you're breathing properly. You don't need to put yourself in a crazy state. Even if you want your body to get bigger, or to gain muscle, or you want to lose body fat, it's more about calories. It's more about absorption. It's about reducing inflammation. Because when you do that, you'll be able to gain weight. If what you're doing makes you gain 4 pounds of acidic water weight or whatever you're taking, and then all of a sudden you get more sick, and then 2 weeks later you're now 8 pounds lighter, it's 1 step forward, 2 steps back. You have to heal your gut before you get crazy in the gym. Go to the gym, get a little sweat in. I would say maybe walk on an incline, but make sure you got enough electrolytes. Do light resistance training, practice your breathing, get into a light yoga class, but focus your energy on your healing program. The gym will always be there, okay? And the more healthy you get, that's how you're going to get really strong. So when I took that step back, now I hardly drink a lot of any of this stuff I was taking beforehand, but I can run 5 miles straight. I can bench 280 pounds. I'm 180 pounds. I can squat all this weight. I can do walking handstands, and I can do all this cool stuff in the gym that came from patience and came from me healing my gut first and then slowly incorporating health. So get your diet right. And even if you're out there, I was a personal trainer for 2 years. I did a lot of fitness stuff. If you are trying to lose weight as a girl, and you're saying I'm eating 800 calories and I'm still having some extra weight on me, you figure out your daily regimen and what works for your body before you start exercising. 75% of this is about being healthy mentally and having the physical calorie intake and the right stuff for your body first and foremost. Running and jumping and sweating is a far second to all that. That's my opinion. What do you think?
I love that. Well, for me, I love what you said about nutrition. I don't count calories. I never did. It works for me. I'm very in tune with my body. So if I feel like I need more fat, I'm craving that. If I feel like I need more carbs, like I literally crave carbs, and I don't deprive myself of it. I haven't. It doesn't matter if it's late at night or, whatever. So I'm very in tune with your body. And if you can, be like that, not counting calories, not focusing on, not measuring your weight, your food. I mean, I think that's, to me, it's no way to live. As far as exercise, the first thing I think I did yoga for a year at least, 5-6 days a week before I started lifting weights. I lift weights now, but I did yoga. I was very into it. I even got my yoga certification, and I taught for a while as well. So, I think yoga is a great start, and I see a lot of macho guys even doing yoga because you need to stretch your muscles, and it also helps with hormones. When you lift weight, when you do any kind of exercise, it does alter your hormones, and you have to make sure you're doing what works for you, because hormones can also play a part in your diet and your digestion. And also, I mean, not really exercising, but it does play a part. If you're lifting weight, make sure you take care of your body while you're lifting. And chiropractic is something that I would definitely look into, because there are a lot of things. Lift something and you feel like you strained a muscle or something went out of place, then it can actually affect your digestion. There are places, there are muscles and I'm trying to think of the word, veins, or things that in your body, if they're pinched or if they're out of whack, they send signals to your gut to digest. If those are out of whack or pinched, that could be huge. And so that's something that I personally experienced. I always have to make sure that I keep my chiropractic care in check.
Dell said, what about CBD oil? I've had a lot of people tell me that they've had miraculous changes with CBD oil, especially with sleeping through the night. So what about Beth? What's been your...
Well, my followers know that I'm a huge pro CBD. I've seen tremendous benefits, not just with CBD, but hemp in general. It doesn't have to be CBD oil, just hemp seeds, hemp butter, hemp oil. It has reduced my personal inflammation, and a lot of my other followers have seen not just gut health, but their skin cleared up, eczema, things like that. And so there is CBD oil. There's TheraTreat. It's actually a chocolate CBD. If maybe you have a kid or a child that doesn't really want to take the oil, I've had some of my followers tell me that their kids will take the chocolate instead of, it's clean chocolate too, instead of the oil, and they also have CBD, in their puberty, and they also have CBD oil that you can roll on topically if you're having joint or muscle pain. And then there's also food grade oil. And so I say, if you're on the fence, if you're not sure about it, go for it. I mean, to me, you can't really lose. The worst thing that could happen is that it doesn't help you. I have never come across anyone that said they had negative side effects from it. Only benefits. So, I'd say, it's worth a shot if you're considering it.
Rebecca Murray, one of my good friends, one of the best endocrinologists I know, she said, so glad we're doing this. Thank you so much. Maria said, thank you for tuning in. Yes, we're very happy that you guys came here. And, we had this whole plan where I was going to ask Beth a lot about her story and stuff like that. And then you guys just started writing comments. And this is all, is that,
live in the moment.
Yeah, it's a win-win because we're talking directly to you guys. We're not preaching. We're just trying to create solutions. And I would say, off the top of my head, the last question I would have for you, Beth, is if there were 3, let's say, supplements that you find that are really helpful in people's healing program, like they can follow your diet or read some of your blogs about how they can work that diet in. But if there are 3 things that you think can really help people the most and impact the most, what would that 3 be, and where can they find them?
Okay, so it's really hard to choose 3, but
yeah.
I have a whole list on my blog, and then if you have questions, again, just send me a DM on my Instagram. But
where can they find you? Where can they find you?
I have a 10 steps to heal your gut on my blog.
Okay.
And so they can go there, lilsipper.com, LILSIPPER, and then my Instagram is Lil Sipper, LILSIPPER. But yeah, definitely there's a brand that I take every day, Vital Proteins. They have everything from collagen, gelatin. They even have some bone broth powder. It's all organic. So those things are definitely something I incorporate in my diet every day, as well as bone broth. It's not necessarily a supplement, but it is, I would say, a superfood.
Okay.
Something that has really helped healing the gut. I know we talked about glutamine. That's another top thing. And for me, I know some people are on the fence, but real cultured yogurt. Not the kind with all the flavors and the plain cultured yogurt. And just real food. I really would focus on looking at ingredients. If you are buying something packaged or something like that, look at ingredients. Less is more.
Yeah.
And I would also I wanted to say this earlier. If you're having trouble eating, for a while I had to eat very little bits, like every 10 to 15 minutes. A spoon every 15 minutes of something all day long, instead of 3 or 4 meals a day. Every 15 minutes, take a bite, and then you can work onto it.
For me, the three I would recommend, and this goes to Mandy. We just got another question. She said her 13-year-old daughter has devastating Crohn's disease. She's just really hurt by it, and what can she do? The doctors don't seem to be helping much. And I think, Mandy, starting with what Beth just said there, the bone broth, the Vital Protein, collagen, the 1 scoop at a time, or cultured organic real homemade yogurt can be really helpful. All pureed liquid from Beth, and checking out LilSipper.com could be a great place to see a ton of blogs. She has so much stuff right there. For me, I would say also downloading my ebook 6 Tips to Healing Crohn's Colitis. And just like she said, my first tip, healing starts in the mind. And that's really hard with a 13-year-old. And I have worked with some parents to help their, anywhere from a 9-year-old to 11-year-old start healing. And the most important thing is you just get regimented. And I know that's hard when you have free time. Is usually the morning and the night. So that's where you can start doing little things, but also maybe taking time off school, taking time off work. There's nothing more important to health to figure it out, and just trying to create a structured program. The 3 I really love, I would say 1 is I've been getting a ton of value from colostrum, a real organic colostrum, which is found in mother's milk. It's an enzyme that helps a baby's gut go to an adult gut, rebuild the villi. And the villi are what allow you to absorb, right? And leaky gut is when your villi are broken down and you have breakage that leads to undigested food particles and pathogens going into the bloodstream. And this is what's setting off your immune system, going, hey, fire, 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 because all this is in your bloodstream, right? We have to close the gates. You got to close the gates. So I would say using something like colostrum that helps rebuild the villi, helps rebuild the immunoglobulins, your immune cells to help them be stronger. That's your natural defense within your gut. Can be really, really, really helpful. An elemental shake with something like psyllium husk, if you're having a lot of urgency, grounded psyllium husk, or sprouted flaxseed, if that's going to be hurting you, can be really helpful, making sure it's pureed or liquid. And then if you're absolutely not sure, I would start with something like Absorb Plus, which was made by Jeannie Patel, who had Crohn's disease, healed herself naturally, and she made it for people with Crohn's. And I thought that was really organic in nature, that she nearly died of something and then said, I don't know what everyone else's mission statement in their company is, but her mission statement was to make something specifically with Crohn's and colitis. And you can't put health in a bottle. So, it's not that I just represent this company. I'm sure Beth would say the same thing. It's just, this is the best we found based on what other people are doing. And you just can't put health in a bottle. There's always going to be little things you don't like and do like. But with the Absorb Plus, I don't like stevia, so I use the unsweetened version and add Manuka honey. And that's got a little multidextrin, which helps for gaining weight, because it is meant to be gaining weight. And it's hard to get perfect with that for everybody. So that's my 3. If you don't have a basis of a daily program with a diet and a healthy mindset, these supplements are not going to work. They're not magic pills. There are no magic pills. There's only building one brick at a time. Coming on, we went over so much good stuff. We have so many options. If you wrote down everything that could possibly be part of your personal program, you would have 40 things right now to try out. So I think that's going to be plenty for you guys. Just make it simple, right? Write it down, make it simple, get it out of your head. And Beth, thank you so much for your time. LilSipper.com, @LilSipper. She has amazing posts. She's a
Instagram.
and she's on Instagram all the time. So thank you so much for having us, and I will talk to all of you all very soon. Okay? All right. Thank you, Beth. Have a good day.
Bye.
You can take something that's really hard and can be the worst thing that ever happened to you, and that worst thing can grow and flourish into the best thing that ever happened to you. Today, I help people reverse their symptoms from Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis.